Yesterday, we heard how a U.S. Army investigation into a deadly training accident revealed ignored safety protocols and dangerous conditions.
Today, First Lieutenant Zachary Galli's family is calling for changes to a law that's kept them from getting justice in court. Marta Berglund has the story you'll see only on 13 News Now.
If this had happened in the real world, somebody's in jail, somebody's license is taken from them, massive lawsuits.
13 months after their son, First Lieutenant Zachary Galli, died in a military training exercise, Michael and Gail Galli finally got answers from the Army.
It is something that we are still figuring out how to deal with and live with every day.
The Army's own investigation report revealed incomplete inspection and hazard reports. It stated the lock securing the door on the elevator shaft where Galli fell was missing. The records obtained by 13 News Now plainly state the Army's failure to comply with its own protocols, quote, contributed to the conditions that led to Galli's death. Army officials did not respond to our request for comment.
I wanted them to feel the same pain that I was feeling.
The Gallis looked into legal action, hoping for accountability for their son's death.
To find out that they are able to completely ignore their policies and procedures and nothing can happen to them, nothing will happen to them, was mind-blowing to me.
They quickly learned they wouldn't get any damages from the military thanks to a 1950 law.
This doctrine was established not out of the written law.
13 News Now legal analyst Ed Booth explains the Feres Doctrine is an exception to the Federal Tort Claims Act. While certain situations allow you to sue the U.S. government, families like the Gallis can't.
Sort of a judicial-made doctrine that prevented active duty servicemen and women from filing suit and making recoveries under the Federal Tort Claims Act.
After the 1989 explosion on the Norfolk-based USS Iowa, the Feres Doctrine prevented the families of the 47 service members killed from any financial reparations. Today, the Feres Doctrine is preventing thousands of Gold Star families like the Gallis from legal amends they say are deserved.
This is not and should not, and I don't believe was the intent of the Feres Doctrine. A carte blanche, sovereign immunity, we are not held accountable for anything.
Accidents remain the most common cause of death for active duty service members. In the year Zachary Galli died, 261 service members died in accidents. 3 died from hostile action.
It is straight up negligence, and no one's being reprimanded, no one's being prosecuted. Nothing's happening. There's no justice for any of these soldiers that are dying in training due to negligence. And it's a crime.
Booth says there have been efforts to change the Feres Doctrine. Exceptions exist for certain victims of medical malpractice and Camp Lejeune's contaminated water. But it still mostly protects the armed services from lawsuits, even in cases of negligence.
Basically, that's what you have to have. You have to have an act of Congress, at least at this point, to say we're going to allow cases to go forward under this narrow set of parameters.
The Gallis are now appealing to lawmakers, calling for change to the law.
Everybody in the real world is accountable for something. And when that happens, change happens.
But more than anything, they want to stop preventable accidents from taking the lives of our service members.
Each time it moves, it may be just an inch. But if we can do our part to kind of get it closer to it changing, because it needs to change.
For 13 News Now, I'm Marta Berglund.
And we reached out to Senators Mark Warner and Tim Kaine for comment, as well as Representative Rob Whitman. Senator Kaine did not respond. In a statement, Representative Whitman said, in part, I remain committed to working with the department and my colleagues to ensure that our military takes the necessary steps to protect the safety of our service members.
Senator Warren said Congress should ensure the circumstances present in this case are addressed, that the Army fully addresses recommendations, and that this continues to receive necessary attention. You can read their full statements on 13newsnow.com.